Okay. Hi. We're live on Facebook. I'm Evie Ohmsgirl.
And I'm Chaitanya. Hello.
We're using StreamYard, and I thought that we were already live, but now we're actually live. And we were just talking about the micro clusters of the water. Today we wanted to talk about alive water, live structured water, also known as electrolyzed reduced water. And we wanted to call this Love the Skin You're In because it's so easy to have skin imbalances and inflammation. And with hydration, that's one of the biggest things when drinking a live structured water or electrolyzed reduced water to really penetrate the cells and to reduce inflammation. So Chaitanya was just going over the difference and the microclusters. Do you want to do that again? I'm sorry about that.
Yeah. So, yes, hydration is a huge factor in skin health. And that glow, the plump, dewy look, that all of that can be greatly improved with superior hydration. Your water, your water is a major. We go to the stores and we buy a lot of the external stuff. Um, you know, Thousands, millions of dollars in the US.
It's a $1 billion industry.
Yeah, $1 billion. Yeah, because everybody wants to look young and look like their skin is clear and glowing and happy and healthy. So, but one of the hugest factors is hydration and detoxification. So with the electrolyzed reduced water, the structure of the the water itself is what allows it to super hydrate our cells. Standard most often water will come in clusters of 15 to 20 molecules of water in a cluster, and that is difficult for it's difficult to move through the membranes of our cells. If you can kind of picture a chain link fence and you're trying to throw like a tennis ball or a softball through that chain link fence, it's not going to go through. Can you hear me okay?
Yes.
I just saw that I just wasn't sure if I was still on. So with the electrolysis, the water molecules, or the water clusters rather, are broken up into smaller groups of 4 to 6 small water molecules. So it's a very small cluster. It's called a microcluster. And those microclusters are able to actually permeate the cell membranes so much easier, so much better, so much more efficiently. So our cells are actually getting the water that we're putting in our body. I don't know if you've ever experienced like drinking a ton of water, but it just feels like a rock in your stomach. It just feels like really heavy and sloshy and kind of like, but when you drink the electrolyzed reduced water, you'll notice it's just gone. It's like, where did it go? And it's going into your cells where your body needs it. So that alone, that one single factor of just actually hydrating our body from within instead of trying to, pack it on all on the outside, that's really going to bring that glow and that hydration and that healthy look from the inside out.
Yeah, totally. And like one thing I was learning too, which is, similar, it's, the negative ions and the positive ions. And the positive ions are really the free radicals, and they're spent ions in the body that are just kind of moving around, whereas the alive water has negative ions, and so there is that charge that literally attracts also the positive ions and the free radicals to literally remove those toxins because it's so antioxidant and hydrogen rich. And hydrogen is one of the top natural antioxidants in the world. So it's really amazing, with titanium plates, that it helps to activate, the hydrogen and the antioxidants.
And it's amazing.
Yeah. And I didn't really know until I've been getting more into kind of researching with the science and, with skin, how so many people are really chronically dehydrated. And we just don't realize that, being a nutritionist. And I'm sure even with yoga, and I see it with my yoga classes too. It's like we're just drinking this dead water and we're like, okay, we're getting hydrated, but it's still not that common of knowledge. Like it is a little bit in our kind of community, I think, but it's still knowledge, I think, that, has a little way to go to really reach kind of the masses of hydration, and just alive water, because we're just so used to, it's normal. Okay, we're just going to drink plastic bottle water,
Right. Right. And there's a huge trend toward, like alkaline water in bottles and stuff, but oftentimes, more often than not, really, the mass majority of those they're just adding some chemicals or some minerals, some baking soda even, to change the pH of the water, but it doesn't actually, it's not actually what your body is needing. And yes, it will make it artificially alkaline, but not in the way that your body can necessarily appreciate it. And it's not going to change the structure of the water so that it can actually be absorbed, like the electrolyzed reduced water.
Yeah, and
really having that ion. I love the way you explain it, because I read about it a lot, but I could never, it's just kind of like, I never grasp it very well. So I love it when you explain how those ions, and what were they called?
Like negative ions and positive ions, which I find it harder to explain the microclusters. Now I've heard it 3 or 4 times you saying it, so now I'm starting to get it, but I don't know why. But the negative ions, I kind of think of just like a battery, like a positive and a negative. And the negative really attracts to the positive, but the positive are spent.
Yeah, and so it drags it out. Right. And that's another thing, we're always hearing about superfoods and super antioxidant foods, and those are great. But the water can do the same thing, even better in a lot of situations. This is even more of an antioxidant than a lot of those superfoods. So it's something that we drink every day. We need water. It is life. So it's really, really powerful to have the water itself be even, like multiple steps above most waters out there.
Totally. Yeah. In my research, one lady was saying, who is also like a holistic healthcare practitioner, that it's kind of her first step with her clients is to get them on this alive water or electrolyzed reduced water. And she says, generally, you see the reduction of the inflammation in the skin, because a lot of this skin imbalances, like the acne, the psoriasis, the rosacea, all of that often, there's a toxin overload that's going on, right? And so the skin is the biggest organ, and that is where we often see some of the imbalances the most, is in the skin. I always notice that when I, look at healthy people, I always look at the skin first, because, people might say they're healthy, but then they have sallow skin, or, I think sometimes, maybe closer to, certain cycles, especially as women, it can be a little bit more natural to have a bit more acne or certain things. But that's where also topically, I wanted to do a little demo, because that's something I learned today, which I've never actually used it like this. So it'll be first time using it. Have you used it before? Like the 11? Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
You use it every day like that? Okay.
Yeah. I don't, and I've also used it for like irritations. Like my daughter got a bee sting, and it was swelling. So we soaked a rag in the 11.5 and 11.5 pH water from the machine, and just cold compress. Yeah, super alkaline, exactly. And it definitely helped with the pain and the swelling. So yeah, that was really cool.
That was actually similar, not the bee sting, but just in the inflammation with my, how do I go this way? My new tattoo. Well, I had a tattoo on it previously, but then I got it redone. And right away it was quite inflamed. So I just ran it under the 11.5 while I had a bottle being filled with the 2.5. Yeah. And honestly, even one night of that, I was like, whoa, I was quite surprised. I wasn't sure at first. I know we talked about this with Natalie too, like what to use for things like tattoos. But I don't know, instinctively this last time when I got it redone, I used the 11.5, and I think that has helped a lot. So it's been cool. Yeah. But yeah, what I saw today, which I'm going to start doing from now on. So this is 11.5. So what she says is that the 11.5 You can actually use it because it's strong alkaline water and it actually cleanses. Could you hear me? Or the motorcycle was so loud.
Yeah.
So it
Yeah.
actually cleanses and opens the pores and pulls the oils
Oh,
from
yeah.
the skin. So you can actually see a little bit because it's so easy to get sweaty here. So I have like a little bit of dirt.
Oh, yeah, I see it. Yeah.
And then she said, and she was an esthetician, holistic esthetician. I found one of her YouTube videos and I thought it was quite interesting. And so she was saying then with 2.5, the strong acidic water, which I have a bottle and I use it for cleaning. And we get little ants here in Dominican, you know. And so I actually use that to clean and I feel like they're gone way longer and it's such a safer, more natural way to use the hypochlorous acid. I mean, it's not skin related, but anyway, so then she says with the 2.5, you use that so your pores are already open. So this actually tightens the pores.
Okay. So
Yeah,
like
I've
a
never
toner,
done it before.
like a toner, right?
Yeah, exactly. And she says it really helps with things like acne as well. Because you know your pores are already open with 11.5 and the 2.5 you're closing the pores and yes like a toner. And then lastly, to replace your serum, then you put the 6.0 in here. Um,
Okay.
and then this replaces the serum.
Wow.
So,
So just
cool, right?
all of your skincare
Yeah.
in one machine.
Yeah, which I actually didn't know to that degree. I knew internally, but externally as well. I actually brought some beautiful skincare stuff from a friend's sister's line. It's professional line that's in a lot of hotel spas in Canada and a little bit in the States. But at some point I'm going to run out, and it's really hard to bring things into Canada that way. Hey, Vanessa. So I think replacing my skincare with just the water is really amazing. So I'm going to start doing that. 11.5,
Amazing.
and 6.0.
And I think, if you start doing that regularly, you'll probably start to see a real improvement in your, sorry, you've got an airplane going overhead. Okay. Yeah, I
That's
think you'll
live, right?
start to notice like a difference in your skin. And I'd be interested to hear how it goes as you do that more regularly.
Yeah, thanks. Yeah.
And I one thing that you said something that kind of just made me think about the whole system. Everything in our body is connected. It's not just on the outside, just on the inside. It's like everything is connected. And going back to the detoxification properties, taking out the oxidants, is that what they're called? Oxidants.
Or antioxidants, but then to remove the free radicals.
Yeah, the free radicals, that's the word. To remove those free radicals, which are really damaging, not only to our skin, but to everything in our body, but it shows up big time on our skin. Like that shows up as aging and those free radicals really just start to damage the appearance of our skin. And so taking those out is really going to support our body's health and the appearance of our body and our skin and our regenerative abilities, but also taking out, so one of the things that I've experienced in my life in the past was some hormonal imbalances. Like the thyroid was a little off. It wasn't like big deal, but I was definitely noticing a big change in my body and my mood and my a lot of different things were being affected by something that was just a little bit off. And I did a lot of research around it. And what I learned was that a lot of those heavy metals and a lot of those toxins that are just everywhere in our world, we breathe them, we drink them, we eat them. They are everywhere in our world now. And it's just, you can minimize, but you cannot avoid completely. And our bodies are always detoxifying. I mean, our bodies are amazing. They do so much, but it's an overload. And sometimes it starts to clog things up. So I learned that the overload of toxins can really affect our hormonal system, which is everything. I mean, the hormones control everything and they're all connected. So if one's off, all the other ones are off.
Right.
And that's what I'm experiencing. And so that learning to detoxify my body changed everything. The Western doctor that I was seeing said that I was going to have to be on hormone therapy for the rest of my life, that there was nothing I could do, that diet, exercise, lifestyle had nothing to do with it. I was just going to be on medicine for the rest of my life. And I was like, okay, well, thanks for nothing. I'll leave now and do my own thing. And I did not go on any medications, but what I did do was detoxify my body using different methods, water being one of them, diet being another, supplements being another. So it was a whole holistic way to detoxify my body.
Absolutely.
And my levels are now normal. I've never taken any medication for it. And that's what I did. And so just taking those out, my skin was breaking out. It was like, I looked unhealthy. Like you said, when you look at someone, you can see if they're healthy or not just by their skin. And that I looked unhealthy. There wasn't any one particular thing, but it just was that appearance of not healthy skin. And that's changed after I've detoxified my body and just nurtured it in a holistic way. So I know personally how powerful it is to detoxify and how that really affects the appearance of the skin.
Yeah, no, for sure. And that was, I hadn't used the water specifically yet to detox, but it was similar with me. Like I had full blown hypothyroid. My TSH when I first got tested was 10.8, which they say anything over 10 is, autoimmune kind of. And with the naturopathic doctor I was seeing in British Columbia, actually it's the only province that they allow the naturopathic doctors to prescribe medication, which in some instances I think it can be great because if you're trying to go off medication, they can support in a natural way. But, I was really going to someone that, could do the blood work and do the urine sample and do all of that and help support me because I didn't actually know what was going on. For me, I was getting very dizzy. I was in nutrition school at the time. And I thought maybe it was my iron because I have something called thalassemia minor. So I always have to just be aware of my B12 and my iron levels. And it was hypothyroid. And she was like, right away, like, let's go on medication. I'm like, okay, I'm learning nutrition to look at the root cause. And secondly, I'm here for a natural, path. So, we had done a few things, selenium, zinc, iodine, some of those things. But, my TSH was just kind of stuck at a 5. And it was a friend who I worked with at this. It was, they had an apothecary with herbs. They had a pharmacy. And then they had, supplements. So I was really learning while I was in school. And she had 17 years experience. And she actually worked with skin. She was German background. And so she was never, certified nutritionist, but she had, worked in so many years, in this industry. And she said, go look at your heavy metals and go look at your minerals. And I was like, okay, I hadn't even learned that in nutrition school. Nobody talked about heavy metals. And I did natural ways. And, I haven't had my TSH checked in a year, but I did heal it in a year. And the biggest thing, like you said, was removing those heavy metals and toxins and supporting the body. And for sure, when we moved to Dominican, we weren't able to use the machine right away because here you do need a pre-filter, to get the ionizing of the machine really working, to have, the different settings really working properly. And what a difference when I moved to this house, because there's a pre-filter, just in my energy levels and just less mood swings. And for me, it's always like emotional. Like I always feel when I'm imbalanced emotionally. I mean, some days you just, naturally feel that or whatever, but, and the liver is the biggest part that metabolizes our hormones, right? And the liver is the biggest detox organ. This is, again, why you really do see it in the skin, and that's something like, the jaundice, right? A friend of mine, she had, mega stuff going on with her liver because she did some detoxing, but it wasn't actually good for her in the end, she realized. And so it actually created like a huge imbalance and she was in the hospital for a while. But her skin was really yellow. I'd never seen that.
Wow.
Babies. Yeah, it was really interesting. And, at the time I still didn't know to this degree about the alive structured water or electrolyzed reduced, but, anyways, so, and then she's actually a hardcore yogi and she's in Costa Rica now, but, she's healed, thank goodness, with holistic means actually in the end. But it's really, really incredible the support that, the hydration and like you said, to really remove those toxins, those oxidative stress.
So it sounds like, I know detoxification is a big subject, a big topic, and everybody's kind of like into it sort of. But there's definitely ways that you can do it that are not actually beneficial.
Right.
Because if you do some things to detoxify your liver, but you don't bring it out of the body,
Right.
it pushes it out of the liver, but it's still in your body, and then it comes out of your, your face or whatever. Like, it has to show up somewhere else.
Yes.
Unless you can actually remove it from the body.
Yes.
And there's a lot of different ways of doing that, but certainly this water can do at least part of that in a big way, because it's really hydrating and pulling out those free radicals and flushing the system, because when you are adequately hydrated, and the water is doing what it's supposed to be doing, it's, giving the cells what they need. And then they're able to really operate at an optimal level. And there's so much flow, like the water coming in and the water going out, and all the cells doing what they're supposed to do. And that supports the normal hormonal function. And, it's like the whole system gets supported by just simply drinking the water.
Yeah.
So yeah, I love it.
And we'll probably talk about it again next month. Maybe Natalie will join us next month. But yeah, if you have any questions, please post them below. Shaitanya or myself will do our best to answer them. We actually do have a little promo going on right now. So if you are interested, DM Shaitanya or myself, and we will support you and guide you as best we can. But yeah, it was really nice to chat with you today and to see you live and chat about, one of our favorite things.
Yeah, absolutely.
With the water. Yeah.
Thanks so much for arranging this. And yes, definitely, if there's any questions, reach out to either of us. And I'm really excited for that promo. So yes, if you are interested in learning about that, definitely reach out.
That's good. Have a beautiful, blessed day, and I'll talk to you and everybody soon.
Happy Valentine's Day.
Happy Valentine's.
Bye.